young for this.
We got this one to share between us. So, you guys were just telling me in the interview, and I don't know if everyone out there knows this, but there was a pretty awesome reveal, even to you guys, about who the traitor was. So perhaps we could pick up with that story, because Joe Mallari, creator, did something pretty hilarious with this.
You're gonna make us go.
Don't all jump on it at once.
We went through it once, AJ. You know what?
Well, did one of you think that you were for sure the traitor and were surprised that it was 6 at the end?
I don't think any of us really knew for sure because, I don't know, we got the last script a little while before we actually filmed it, but we didn't know, who was actually going to be the traitor. So we had a while to try and figure out who it was. A lot of us had it right in the beginning, and then we had so long to think about it that we all changed our answers. And so by the time we actually found out, it was like, we were all wrong, but I was right before. And yeah, I don't think any of us really knew for sure, though. We were all just kind of guessing.
Anthony, be honest, didn't you want 3 to a little bit be the traitor? A little bit?
No.
Oh, yeah. I know it probably seemed maybe obvious that it could have been you, but I kind of wanted it to be you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I think it's interesting because, yeah, pretty much all of us, when we read the script, we were like, I think it's 6. But Joe is wonderful at misdirections. So you go to Joe and you're like, Joe, it's 6, right? This is why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's like, and he comes up with all these great reasons to sort of send you off in another direction. So it's true that by the end, I don't think anybody of us thought it was 6.
Or he continues with that for about 5 minutes until you walk away and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna get it.
We also want to mention as well, there's one person on stage at the end of the table who, at least in the context of Dark Matter, you won't recognize. But this is Melanie, who's a new cast member on season 2. So Melanie, you've done lots of great work in the past. We're also going to see you coming up on Game of Thrones as well, which is huge. What can you tell us about Dark Matter, your character, and how she fits into season 2?
Nix is, oh goodness, she's a wonderful character to play. Badass.
Badass?
Yes, she has a special skill set, kind of heightened killer instinct. And
Cool.
Oh, more?
More.
Oh, no.
So heightened killer instinct.
I'm new at this.
So is she a fighting character? Is she a character who
She
takes
sure
a lot of
is,
blood?
yeah. So we've had some great fun. We worked with a great head of the stunt team, John Stead. He's wonderful, and we've got to do lots of fights with some of the cast, again, without giving too much away. But yeah, we've had really good fun.
Can't wait to meet your character. So I know you guys are under like pain of death from Joe and Paul and the other writers and creators of the show, not to spoil anything, but what can you tell us about where we pick up with season 2? It was that incredible cliffhanger, the big reveal that 6 is potentially a traitor, but we don't know that. Maybe he's under mind control, something else could be going on.
I get it.
What can you tell us about where we pick up with season 2, Melissa?
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well, season 2 picks up with us in Galactic Authority Prison. We see us being carted off at the end of the season of season 1, and it's kind of us figuring out what to do. And I think actually 2 is the only person who wakes up knowing who betrayed us, because she has that moment where she saw him before he zaps her out, and yeah, seeing how that relationship kind of figures itself out, and what do we do when we're in prison?
Yeah. Well, Anthony, what about 3? What can you tell us about where we pick up with him and maybe his state of mind? And also want to mention that we're going to go to audience questions in just a second. Toronto Comicon is all about you, so please just toss up your hand if you have a question, and we'll try to get to you.
Well, Melissa mentioned it, we're all in prison, what can we do? So 3 starts a contraband ring and becomes very rich.
That's really? Sweden!
And that's a spin-off series.
Called Oz.
Yeah, a little bit like Sanford and Sons and something like that, that's it.
And Alex, what about 4? Your character had a great arc in season 1. What can you tell us about where he's at in season 2?
Well, as you all know, 4 was a mouthful in season 1. No. You know what? He gets to discover a bit more of himself, and he already had a hard time trusting, whoever was around him. So season 2 takes off, and it's even harder now to figure out, who should I trust? Which one of you guys here? But we visit his storyline even more this year, and I'm really excited. I know Joe has written up a masterpiece, apparently, before episode 12, and I'm really excited for that.
So are we. Jodelle, season 1 was huge for 5, and especially those last few episodes. We got a lot of revelations about your powers, about your past. Obviously, Will Wheaton's character referring to you as Rebecca. What did you think of those revelations as you read them?
What? Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. It's Saturday. What did you think about the revelations around your character?
Yeah, I mean, quite a bit happens in season 1, but I kind of love in season 2, 5 gets to go on a lot more adventures and she's a lot more involved and she gets to be just a little bit more badass than she was in season 1. But season 1 was cool because we got to find out her backstory, and in the beginning, obviously, you don't really know anything about anyone. And she's so mysterious because Ruby's trying to figure out who they are, and she's like, I have these random things that I say sometimes that are a little bit creepy, and I know things about the crew, and who knows why. So it's really, I really like her storyline in season 1, getting to find out why she's so mysterious and why she says these strange things all the time. But season 2 is even cooler.
Awesome. Sorry for crossing character plot lines there. It's a lot to keep track of in my tiny brain. Let's open up to the floor for questions. We got any questions from Dark Matter fans out there? Hello, how are you?
This is a question specifically for Anthony, along the same lines of kind of keeping the script secret and so nobody knew that number 6 was the traitor. Did you know your character had that soft spot at the beginning? Like,
No.
You were such a badass, and then all of a sudden there's this woman and you're soft and cuddly.
Just to repeat the question.
Wait a minute. Wait just one cotton-picking minute. My character is not cuddly. No, I didn't know. You know, one of the great pleasures of the show is to watch our characters whose backstories we don't know evolve before our eyes. And as an actor, that's a lot of fun. And I gotta admit that, of course, it was wonderful to discover that this character. I mean, I love playing the jerk character, the asshole character. Sorry, kids, don't repeat that word at school. Yeah, you might want to talk to my kids about why that is. I don't know. Anyway, so when I found out that there was this sort of more empathetic core to 3, then he became a much more interesting character to play and hopefully to watch as well, because you don't really know. As an audience member, you don't really know exactly when that empathy is going to come out, and walking that line as an actor is a lot of fun.
Maybe Melissa, as the official leader of this ragtag bunch, you could speak to any potential return for some of the awesome cameos that we saw in the first season, or new cameos that you could tease us with. Obviously, we had David Hewlett in the show, Ruby Rose, and as Teddy mentioned, Will Wheaton. Are we going to see any other big stars make some cameos on the show?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, Ruby lost her head.
I don't think she's coming back.
Yeah, I don't, you know what, I think she's a little bit busy anyways.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, you know, Tabor Kalchek, he is our manager, essentially. You know, he gives us our gigs, so I think we'll be seeing a bit more of wonderful and talented David Hewlett. And who else will we be seeing a return of? I don't know if we're allowed to talk about return guests.
Sure.
Yes. Well, but we do have a few unfinished storylines with a few of those unfinished, with some of those guest stars. So I think we'll be seeing some of those guys back.
Maybe.
But we've got a huge host of new people coming in that we gotta tune in to see. Yeah.
Will we get to explore the storyline of why you were created and you know, delving into that more, and you know, how human are you and how android are you?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. This year we're only getting scripts as they're written and coming out, and I gotta say, like, we're pretty far in and I haven't.
Really?
So either it's coming in later in the season, but I think so. I think
so,
we
yeah.
will, at least I'm hoping so, but the adventures have been pretty crazy so far.
But we do go strongly into your backstory for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know why.
Why are we going to the backstory?
I don't know why you exist. That's the part.
You don't want her to exist?
Snaps.
Selling you about that.
Love it. More questions from the floor? Maybe let's go to you in the front there. Hello.
Hi. I had a question. Just want to clarify
the question was about Six's treachery and the extent of it and to what degree it will be resolved. Will we learn specifically what he did or what happened or his motivations, or is it left a little obscure and hazy? Because I actually don't think it's as simple as he's a traitor right there. I certainly don't. So will we learn that pretty quickly out of the gate with season 2, or is that a revelation that's held back?
You know what, our writers, Joe and Paul, do a great job with answering every question that they bring up. So, you know, I can't answer that specifically. Yeah, I can't answer it specifically, but one thing our writers do make sure of, you will get every answer to every question that you have.
Yeah, there's a lot of satisfaction in the second season with regards to the unanswered themes in season 1.
You guys are like politicians. I
That one would have been just yes.
And is that what you think, or is that what 3 would think?
I don't know. You never know when you're talking to me.
Method actors, I tell you.
Yes, hey, Dave. Yeah, hey,
Hey.
buddy.
So with the secrecy that's still surrounding the scripts, even going into season 2, what do each of you kind of take away from a table read to the point at which you're blocking a scene? Anything that now is informing your character a little bit more as you go to shoot?
I think the table reads are absolutely useful to us, because sometimes there are things that are happening and we don't totally agree with what our characters are saying. Or something, you hear someone say something, they do a read of a line that you never would have expected. You know, I didn't hear the story going in that direction, and just because of the way someone perceives their character, which is obviously different from the way we read it by ourselves at home, it just changes the tone of everything, and consequently how you react to that person and how you decide to play the rest of that scene. So I think a lot changes from table read to blocking of the scene. Great question.
And I think more specifically, for us, the way we work on Dark Matter is we've actually read the script before the table read. So I think the essence of that question is, are we changing anything that happens when we block? Say we're shooting whatever episode 6, but we're reading episode 8. For sure, absolutely, where you discover stuff. Oh, that's where my character's going, which informs how you play the episodes prior. For sure.
Melanie, other than the fact that your character is going to get to kick butt, which is awesome.
I was just going to answer that question.
Yeah. What's that?
I was just going to answer.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, as a new character, I found it terrifying because I would literally get a script. I mean, I knew nothing really about where they wanted my character to go, and so from week to week I was like, oh my god, and I was driving Joe mad at, you know, Joe, is there anything else you can give me? He's like, just wait, you'll be fine, next week. But actually, it's wonderful as an actor as well, because it really keeps you on your toes, and you just got to trust and go with it, which is very exciting. So yeah.
And why were you excited to join the series? Like, why do you think season 1 works so well, and why do you think this is a series that works so well? I think it's because
no idea. Because they're all wonderful. I mean, what's so lovely about joining a cast like this is that everyone's so passionate. They're so passionate about the stories. They're so passionate about their individual characters, and we'll fight for our characters till the end. It's great.
awesome.
SJ had her hand up. Go for it, SJ.
I was meaning to ask this last year. For your panels, when you get into the show series, is there a mindset that you all get into before shooting the scenes? You can just block out anything external coming in.
Did everyone hear the question? Is there a mindset that you guys put yourselves into just before you start shooting? Because it sure doesn't seem like it when interviewing you guys. I threw that last part in.
I'd like to say that we're like, okay, it's time to film, let's get serious, but we don't.
We usually break into song and dance, to be honest.
Okay, but the really weird thing is that sometimes, you know, Alex, can you make the sound that you do? Sometimes do it. Ah! And then,
Right before action.
right before action, so he doesn't sound like that, or we're like in the middle of some 90s R&B jam, and then all of a sudden it's like, what's the FTL, can we jump? And it's super weird, it doesn't like the transition.
Or skitty.
Yeah,
Well, they may not be serious actors. I just want to say, I try to insult everybody once before I go and do a scene of 3. Okay, just to try to get you. What?
Oh, that's true.
These are lies. No. This is Anthony's pre-roll is boom. And then he does his scene.
Boom or boom, like breath?
Boom!
It's on the scene.
Boom!
Oh, Morgan.
Boom! Okay. got their little pre-roll thing. Mine is like close my eyes and get into it.
You know what we do before action scenes though, is when we're blocking.
As opposed to one scene.
You know, as opposed to those dramatic scenes that we have. No, what we'll do is we have our finger guns. We can all put up a finger gun, right? And we should point at whoever we're about to shoot, and we say pew pew. And more than not, what'll happen is during the take, once they yell action, we have real guns, but we'll still say pew pew. And you don't? Oh,
Not yet.
You're on your own then.
no, we all say pew pew.
I say bang, actually.
Oh, sorry, bang.
Yeah.
Okay.
So has the vibe always been like this even since season 1, or has it just, you guys know each other more going into season 2, you guys are just kind of wild?
Okay, there's a story about this. So we have another new character who's not up here who has worked a lot in America on American shows, big stakes and the whole 9 yards. And after about 3 or 4 days, we have a pre-roll, not unlike what we were discussing here. It feels a lot like this, and then all of a sudden it's action, and everyone starts talking like this. So after the blocking and the shooting or whatever, he comes out to me and he's got this really sort of serious look on his face, and he goes, "Is it always like this?" I'm like, I don't know what you mean. And he says, "Fun." To which I answered, "Never."
Another question from the floor? Maybe right in the middle here, sir, in the hat. Hello.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to ask, having characters who had amnesia, how hard was it to relate to the character knowing very little in the beginning?
I
Good
love
question.
this question. Yeah. This is like the best question. If you guys, does anyone want to?
Everybody here, it was about playing a character that had
I don't
amnesia.
remember.
The thing that was really cool about that was we were, as actors, we were kind of walking the same path as these characters. We're coming across the scripts in the same way as the characters were going through these situations. We're just trying to figure it out as we go. We don't know much about these characters, and Joe won't divulge a bloody thing. We're like, I need to know these things if you're planting something for future moments. And what was great is like, no, you don't, actually, because your character doesn't. So respond the way you're going to respond, and a lot of us, you're hired partly for things that you bring, but also your intuition about who this person is based off the material that you're given. And that was something that was really fun to play with, just to actually kind of have amnesia. I have no idea what is going on right now, and to work with that, so we could respond truthfully in the moment based on how we felt it would affect us. Yeah. Silence.
I know you guys are fans of this kind of material as much as we are. So do you guys, when you get your scripts, do you theorize as to what might end up happening in future episodes? And especially with this new season, have you had anything that you're like, I bet we're going here, and have it come true? Have you been able to pick out some things?
I mean, we get really excited every time a new script comes out because we just never know what's going to happen. And we'll be sitting on set filming a scene, and one person checks their phone, and they're like, oh my gosh, 210 is out, episode 10 is out, and then we all like, oh my god, let's look and see what happens. And then we all, talk about it with each other and try and figure out what's going to happen, or just try and kind of pick apart the episode. We have a lot of fun trying to predict things because we have no idea and they won't tell us anything, so we have to figure it out for ourselves.
Are you often right? Because on Inner Space, AJ and Morgan are usually wrong with their theories. But are you often right, or are you kind of totally off the mark?
I was totally off the mark with my character.
Yeah?
I had 1,000,001, as an actor, you do your whole backstory, you think, oh, it must be this, but it was completely different.
Well, that'll teach you to prepare on our show. No more backstories, okay? Yeah, I'm always wrong too on that one. I don't know the rest of you guys for sure. I've never really guessed it right. So.
Hi, Melanie, I'm looking forward to see your role in the new season. And
thank you.
I asked Alex this question last time, and I want to ask you too. Do you have any martial arts background or something that will help you in the role of a killer or fighter, or is it mostly the stunt coordinating?
Well, I've always been very physical. I love working out, I love exercise, and I've tried kickboxing and things like that, but I'm just excited. I'm one of those, oh, do you want to try this? Yes, I'll give it a go. But yeah, it's definitely been challenging, but it gets easier the more you do it. Like the choreography, and yeah, it's fun. It's definitely something I enjoy.
As I said, we're also going to see you in next season of Game of Thrones, which is cool. How would your character from Dark Matter do in Westeros, in the realm of Game of Thrones?
She's coming to Westeros.
And is Jon Snow alive?
Oh my goodness, Game of Thrones is so secretive. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, you can ask me a million questions. I actually have no clue. They wouldn't send me the script. I mean, you get to set and yeah, then you get your sides, and that's how they go. Yeah.
I thought we had it bad.
I mean, I got out there a bit early, so it was cool, but really good fun. But my characters are complete opposites. Yeah.
Cool. Can't wait. Let's go over here at the back. Hello.
Chewie.
Sorry to ask me, snuck in a little late. A couple things. First, Sharon Great Whiteside, want to say hi. And secondly, do you guys find that with the physicality of your job, roles, do you find working out together helps build the team? Do you guys work out together?
Do you guys work out together?
Do you guys work out together?
Do you mean physical exercise or just working out the scene?
I meant exercise.
Oh.
We kind of did the first season. Oh yeah, we kind of did the first season. We don't really work out together. I mean, Mel and I have taken a couple of Pilates classes together, but not really. Oh, Alex and I kind of do. We did some ballet bar and stuff the other day. You know, it's really good for your behind. Pop some squats every once in a while.
On set, sometimes partial to the odd dip.
Yeah.
Before a scene.
That's a great idea.
Push up.
We should all work out together.
Are you a personal trainer over there?
But actually, you have to really squeeze it in because the schedule's crazy. So you've really got to kind of get clever when you can work out.
Yeah, that's true.
We have the same problem, the three of us. So busy. Tim,
What lessons have you learned while working on Dark Matter?
what have you learned while working on the show? Whether about yourself, your character, acting, life.
I've learned that if you are the type of person who quips a lot in life, every woman will beat you up.
You will.
My turn?
Yeah.
I learned so much. This was my first, I learned about how cameras work and blocking. This was my first gig, and my first day on set, I remember we had all 6 people, and there are these things called marks on the ground. They're like tape marks on the ground that tell you where to stand. And we did it one way, and then the cameras changed positions, but so did all of the tape marks. And everyone's trying to roll, and everyone's like, okay, let's go action. I'm like, no. I got, guys, there's 30 people, and I'm like, no, can we just stop? I was not standing here. I was standing way over there. And Roger and Anthony were like, no, this is, you gotta stand there because the camera, this is what's real now. And I'm like, but that's not what I was doing. So that was a very, very bizarre thing. The learning curve has been absolutely astronomical. So it's a lot.
Jodelle, what about you? Yeah?
Did you know what marks were before you started this show?
Yeah. The tape
After
thing.
she was 3.
I mean, I think every single thing that you work on, you end up learning something. Maybe not necessarily like Melissa, where it was her first thing and she learned everything about the film industry on like the first episode. But yeah, I mean, there's always more to learn. I'm never gonna, stop figuring things out about acting or the industry. But it was really cool, being on a spaceship show, and now I know all these techie words. I don't know what they mean, but I can say them. Fine, especially, I usually have no idea what I'm talking about. As long as I get the words right, I'm happy. I've learned to pretend that I know how to fix things. So, yeah.
You did a good job.
She's being very, very modest because I think one of the real things I've learned is how to listen and be present in the moment. And it's funny that I could go through 15 years of career and not really learn active listening until I watched Jodelle act.
Alex?
I can go next, I don't mind. swords and bow staffs.
Oh,
Oh no, that was mentioned on the blog. So I'm not allowed to mention that. But the physical stuff, huge learning for me. But also, again, just what these guys are saying, it's just great to let go and just see what happens in the moment without sounding cheesy. Being able to adapt to different people because we're all such different personalities. So
I have learned to step up to the plate every day. You know, working with these veteran actors and actresses, and like, for example, like Zoe Palmer, who always has a mouthful of techie things, along with Jodelle here.
She has a little more.
Yeah, she does have a little more. She's the android, but having to step up to the plate and watching them every day just execute every scene with little to no mistakes. You know, as a rookie, you have to look at that and you admire that, and you are forced to step up and perform and execute, and there's no slacking off on this team. As much fun as we have, and as goofy as we can get, when it comes down to it, every single one of us executes. So that's what I've learned here, is just be professional and P's and Q's, be there. No.
Very cool. We have a question in the front from the president of the Anthony Lemke fan club, his daughter.
Oh, good question.
What?
Why did the show need new characters?
Seriously. Joe?
He's tuning in on Periscope.
Yeah.
Why did we need?
well, I'm glad they did.
Well, someone,
Yes,
someone
I'm
has
glad.
to help us, right? Doesn't someone, like, we're in prison now, so we get, like, we're all kind of stuck in there. So I think inevitably, when we're stuck in a new environment, we're not in the spaceship anymore, and we're surrounded by all these new criminals. So I think we were going to meet new people. You know, maybe friends, enemies.
Yeah, I think it's a real opportunity for our characters, because we are a spaceship show, right? So it's, you know, us stuck on a ship with the folks who were there in the first season, that's it. So unless you introduce some new blood onto that spaceship, you're not going to see arcing storylines with anyone except ourselves. So I think that was exciting for the writers, and it's been exciting for us to have new faces and new characters to play with.
Well,
Thank you for the question.
Is that a cool guy at home? Is he a cool guy at home?
Is he a nice dad?
Yeah, he's nice.
Anthony, you did just call it a spaceship show, and I mean, as we've seen, we left off, and you're saying we begin in a prison. So, is it safe to say that we're going to end up back aboard the Raza? Or
You're too smart. It is safe to say that Jay Firestone, being the astute businessman that he is, did not spend millions of dollars to build the Raza for one season.
Well played.
Oh, Chewie, I believe, himself has a question.
So as actors, you develop a character, you do a lot of work on your own time. You come to the set and you find out that you are not the person you thought you were playing. When you go back home at the end of the day, how do you process that? How do you accept that?
Tears?
Shower. Definitely, no, seriously, there have been times where I'm like, oh, I have to wash that off. I don't know what that was and why I did that today, but you gotta wash it off. That's something for sure. What's that? No beer?
Yeah. Okay, I think we got another question right here.
Oh,
Does
good
5 go to
question.
jail?
That's a good question.
Well, I won't answer that, and I'm not sure 5 will. Will you 5? Will you answer that?
Maybe.
Oh, she might go.
Oh, she might. I said maybe. I'm not gonna answer it.
That's a good question, and it's a spoiler question, but you'll find out in the summer.
I think the safe thing to say is that if you watch all of season 1, which I know you have watched most of, there are clues as to who would end up in jail and who would not.
I mean, I do get dragged off with everybody else at the end, so it's not like I'm just on the ship like, yeah, where did everybody go? But yeah, I end up somewhere else. You'll find out.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Question off of Periscope.
Hi, Periscope.
Hi, Periscope!
They're asking, how far into season 2 are you? Oh, they all say hello. They're asking, how far into season 2 and what's been highlights for each of you?
We are currently in the middle. Well, we've started shooting 209. Yesterday was just the last day of 208. And what's the, oh man, highlights. Should we go down the road? Mel, why don't you start? Highlights?
Highlight for me was episode 6, where you learn all about Nyx, where she came from, some family might be involved, that kind of thing. Really good fun.
I just apparently you can do something for 1 beat too long, then it becomes awkward and people move on. So I was waiting for that. Okay, my highlight is having worked with Melanie here and the other new cast members. They've been great because the old ones are starting to get boring. No, I don't know. There's so many things, guys. It's such a fun cast and crew to work with. It's all just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some new people, we've got some really awesome scripts, and we all get to go on really great adventures this season, and Five does as well, and you know, she had a little bit of that in the first season, but even more so in season 2, so it was really fun. I'm looking forward, for Five specifically, episode 3 was a really cool one because she gets to do quite a lot. You'll see why. So that was one of the highlights for me. I mean, but it's just been a really great season. So, kind of been one big highlight so far. I mean, we're pretty far in, but it's still fun.
I think that first day back was pretty crazy because it just felt like coming home to a family, like seeing the cast members, but also the crew. And we happened to be doing fights and stuff on that day, so it was everybody, all the different parts of our team were there that day. And I think when I look back at that, that was a huge highlight. And echoing Jodelle, the whole thing has been a massive highlight. But especially that first day, you know, when you're like, oh, I'm home, wicked, and it's so nice to see you. Like, let's all just high five and fist bump the entire day. It's awesome to be here. So yeah, it's a great environment to go to every day.
I think definitely one of the highlights is, you know, we got ready for season 2, and JR, you know, the producer dumped a whole ton of money into an entirely new set. So we have an entirely second studio that's full of sets you guys haven't seen. And for me, that was, I mean, it's a little bit of every actor, or at least this actor, that never really left playing in the cool stuff in your basement, the tickle trunk, and making the spaceships underneath the stairs, and to walk into like a completely new set that is a world created by experts who are amazing at creating worlds, and being able to play in that world has been a highlight. And also watch that world evolve, because it's there for a number of episodes, and then you come back and it's something completely different, but the bones are the same. And so props to those guys, man. They've been fantastic, and then of course to Jay as well for shelling out for an entire second studio.
We got to wrap it up in a sec, but is there anything else you want to say to the fans here or on Periscope, your supporters, and maybe about the kind of diehard fandom that they have for the series? Anything else you want to say?
We love you!
Thank you!
Thank you so much!
We love you back. Can't wait for season 2. We got to wrap it up, but guys, if you were one of the first people in line, if you're one of the first 100 people in line, you got a ticket. That ticket is good for an autograph session that is happening in the main autograph area right after this panel. So if you have a ticket, head there. If you don't know where it is, just ask one of the intrepid Comicon staff, and they will show you, and you can get an autograph from the cast of Darkfire. Give it up for them once more. Thank you so much.